Hello, folks. This is Raj Option Trading. Today we will talk about emerging trends in big data. So these are a few major companies in the big data. First one is Snowflake. Snowflake sells cloud computing technology, and it has a legendary CEO, Frank Slootman, who's ex-chairman and CEO of ServiceNow. Under his leadership, ServiceNow did very well. So if the history is any evidence, Snow will also do very well under Slootman's leadership. It still has some lockup period. Some more stocks will be available in March, so look out for oversupply of stocks. But overall, it's a good company. Next is Palantir. Palantir is it builds, deploys software for intelligence community. It also works with the government and counterterrorism operations. So its CEO is Dr. Alexander C. Sharp, and it's founded by co-founded by Thielman, Peter Thielman. Peter Thiel is the co-founder of PayPal. Next is Datadog. Datadog is a very good company. It's it basically covers the essential monitoring and security platform, and its CEO is Oliver Pomel, and it also won some awards in the AWS Public Sector Partner Award. Next is Splunk. Splunk basically drives security and DevOps, and CEO is Mr. Douglas Merritt, and it also won some awards for its legendary work. MongoDB is next one we'll cover. It's a very fast growing cloud database, and CEO is Mr. Dev, and it's also got few awards. And next company is Elastic. Elastic helps people explore, analyze data. Its co-founder is Mr. Shay Bannon. It's one of the very fast growing companies. And next is C3 AI. It's a leading enterprise software provider for building AI applications. Its founder is Tom Siebel. You must have heard about him. He started a company called Siebel Analytics. Later, it was sold to Oracle. And next is Alterisk AYX. It provides end-to-end analytics. Its co-founder and chairman is Dean Stoker. And it also got some awards, as you can see here. Next is Cloudera, provides a suite of data analytics, and president and CEO is Mr. Robert Belden. With that, let's go into the few fundamental aspects of these companies. Snowflake, just started a couple months ago, as you might be knowing, and stock price is 291, and it's got a good market cap. It's one of the biggest market cap in this watch list, and it has a revenue and a huge revenue growth, as you can see, and a very good profit margin. Still losing money, as you can see by the actual profit margin itself, and earnings per share is negative. And a couple of things I highlighted in bold because these are few leading companies. And I want to highlight here with Splunk, it's got a little bit negative, quarter over year growth in the last quarter. So something to watch out for. And C3 AI, it's got a little bit lower growth here, so something to watch out for. But still, because it's got a healthy gross margin, I think it's a good play going forward. Next, we'll talk about the monthly performance. As you can see, a Snowflake with the lockup expiration just happened in January. It kind of dropped 13% in December. So I think it's a good company going forward. There is one more expiration coming up in March. And Palantir Technologies, it also had a huge run in November and a little bit drop. I think overall, because it's a low dollar stock and has a good counterterrorism type setup, it's a good stock to look at going forward. And Datadog, as you can see, it's there for since last September, and it's a good company. It's got its ups and downs. Back in March April time frame when there is a huge COVID scare. As you can see, company share dropped by 20%, but bounced back very quickly. That kind of talks about resiliency of the company. And same story with Splunk. It's there for a while. It's doing very well. One of the leaders, but off late stock, as you can see, is dropping a little bit in December, but picking up now. Good to jump in at this point. And it also, when it dropped back in March, it picked up pretty fast in April. And next is MongoDB. As you can see, MongoDB is consistently growing, and it also dropped, in March, but not too much, and it bounced back very quickly. Elasticsearch is one of my favorite. As you can see here, company doing consistently very well, and bounced back from COVID issues pretty quickly. And AI, this is C3 AI founded by Tom Siebel. It just IPO'd back in January. I think it's a good company to watch out and invest in. Then we got AYX, Alterisk. Alterisk is a good company. Off late, it's a little bit choppy, so I would watch out as we trade AYX. Then we got Cloudera, Domo, and Talent. They're kind of okay, but a little bit low from a market cap perspective. And we'll look at some of these companies from a chart perspective in the next slide. So with that, let's go into the 1 day yearly chart of these companies. As you can see, a Snowflake started back in September, and it's got a magnificent run. As you can see here, hit all the way above 400, and then it's now with the lockup expirations and more stocks hitting the market, it's kind of dropped down a little bit. I would think it's a very good stock. Watch out for March expiration. I think it's good to nibble at this point and take it forward. Next is Palantir. Stock had enormous surge, as you can see, from around $10 IPO price all the way to 30. I think it's a good one to watch out and invest in. Next is Datadog. As you can see, it had a consistent performance. It has its ups and downs, but as you can see, it bounces back, all the time and higher highs. So it's a good sign. I think it's a good company to invest in. Next is Splunk. Splunk, it used to do very well in the past. It's a leader when it comes to data and the log files and some of the security type areas. But off late, as you can see, it's got a bunch of lower lows. So I would be really careful. Maybe buy when it drops, and then trade along. And next, two stocks, as you can see here, both MongoDB and Elastic, they had been a consistent performers. I would recommend, buying these companies and adding to your position. And, MongoDB is a clear leader in the cloud databases. And Elastic, as you can see, they will, very good for searching data, enterprise data, and it's a very good platform, consistently growing. As you can see here, had few blips, but managed to do very well. C3 AI, founded by legendary Tom Siebel, it had its ups and downs, as you can see here, but I think overall it's a good company going forward. Still from a market cap perspective, not a huge market cap, plenty of room to grow. Alterisk, as you can see here, it used to be a high-flying stock earlier on, but off late, couple of quarters, earnings were not consistent, so stock is dropping, as you can see. Cloudera, I think it's did some very good acquisitions in the past. It's growing, so I think it's a good one. It's also a low-dollar stock, as you can see here. Good one to nibble and stock it away. Domo is again another data company. It's doing very well. So as you can see, it had a huge surge from 30 to 60. So it's a good company to watch out for and invest. Next is again a little bit smaller company, Talent. Talent is again an open source type company. It's doing very well, and had a huge drop earlier on in February, March timeframe, but recovered pretty well. So overall, if you see it here, clearly Elastic is doing clearly very well, and MongoDB is doing great, and DOMO at the lower level and Cloudera are doing well. And from a future perspective, I would think Snowflake and C3 AI, they are the clear leaders going forward. Just IPO'd. I would also recommend Datadog, Palantir. So with that, thank you very much. We'll jump into one stock, which is Snowflake, and see how to play around with the options with Snowflake in our next segment. Thank you very much. Bye.